Good afternoon, good evening. Sorry for taking 4 minutes out of our time. I apologize for that. This is Value System Change Agenda, Day 8. It's been very, very, very explosive since we began. And I want to trust that we've learned quite a lot since we started this change agenda. And as Africans, as Nigerians, as Ghanaians, as Tukulis, as Cameroonians, this is a very important session again for the value system change agenda. We want to become better people as we go into 2018. And I want you to help me share this video as I begin the series of today's lecture, as I begin today's lecture. Thank you very much, sir. Good evening, sir, brother Adelaja. Thank you. I'm going to call you like if you can keep up late tonight, I'm going to call you. I promise. So I'm sorry that I have not been able to for the past 2-3 days. A lot of things have been going on at my end here. But today is going to be another time to look at value systems change agenda. We want to become better people in 2018. I don't want to make the same mistakes I made in 2017. I made a lot of mistakes. Good afternoon, sir. Brother Yomi Jagede. I made a lot of mistakes in 2017. I've made many mistakes as well in the past, but I don't want to keep making mistakes and repeating the same thing over and over again. Great and successful people learn from mistakes. They don't repeat mistakes. And so you don't want to repeat history. You want to make history. And that is my own agenda too, and my own goal and vision in life. We're all humans and we've all made mistakes in our lives. And like I said yesterday, regret weighs more on the scale of life than discipline. So if you and I can come together and identify areas in our lives that are gray, that we need to touch, all the I's we need to dot, and all the T's we need to cross, we're going to become better people in 2018. You have the power to become a better person. If you are made in the image of God and you are a man, you already have the creative power of God inside of you. Even people that are not Christians, they are making changes. Because every man that is born by a woman has the image of God, bears the signature of God. And so one very important value system that I want us to look at this evening is money wastage. Money wastage. Africans are experts. We are experts. I am part of the same problem. May God help us. Money wastage. Wasting money. Wasting money or wasting your resources. Wasting money or wasting your resources. Have you heard this statement before? Time is money. Time is money. Or time is life. All the money you make as salary or as income from your job, they are products of your sweat. And your sweat is a product of your life. So in essence, when you are wasting money, you are wasting a portion of your life. That is if you have made that money yourself. If somebody has given you that money and you waste it, you are wasting somebody else's life. Because if you have worked hard to make $100 and you throw that money away, the $100 is a product of your sweat, your labor. So the 3 hours you put into a work that gave you $100 is a portion of your life. And so we want to look at some very vital wisdom nuggets that we must imbibe and follow in 2017. We've got 23 more days to the end of the year. And so we want to do a makeover. Makeover is to renovate something, to change something. I call it makeover. Just to change things, to renovate our lives, to renovate our mindsets, and to become better people. And I've observed that one of the key differences, I'm sorry that I'm using Africans as example. I'm an African myself. And there are fantastic things about Africans. We are wonderful people. We have a lot of strength. But I don't want to focus on my strength, on our strength. I want us to deal with the weaknesses, turning our weaknesses to strength. Now, the Western people, the white people, they have a lot of problems. Some of us that live in Western countries, we know what I'm talking about. And for some of us that have gone abroad, a white man can be corrupt. A white man can be violent. A white man can kill. A white man can steal. There is virtually no crime in the world that you don't find white men committing. So the differences between white men and black men are not just in the bad things that black people do. Black people are wonderful people. We have some key strengths, some areas where we are stronger than white people. But I'm focusing on the areas where we are weak so that we can touch those areas. We can make over and we can clean them up and become better people. So I've identified 31 different areas where we are weak. And that is why I'm using the word makeover. So today I observe that majority of African people, particularly black Africans, we have a lot of other colored Africans, people in North Africa, in Tunisia, wherever, they are colored. And maybe these vices are in their country as well. But Africans are legends at wasting money. Hey, I wish I can say that again 1 million times. If you are looking for a continent where people waste money and waste resources, you find Africa as a perfect case study. Africa is a perfect case study. Going from Nigeria to Ghana to Togo to Cameroon to Kenya, we have leaders that have made a career at wasting money, wasting resources. And so people at the top waste money. People on the floor waste money. And so this is a very serious problem that has retarded the growth of Africans, and that is making us to trail many of our brothers in the Western world. Many of our brothers in the Western world are better money managers than us. I am guilty of the same thing. I have wasted money, done so many things that I regret, and that God is helping me to correct now. So I am just a channel and a vessel to speak to you this afternoon. I'm not telling you that I'm an expert and I have done everything very well. I have managed all my money very well. No. I have done things that I regret, and I oh my goodness, why did I give this person this money? Why did I spend money on this thing? Because of some of the factors I am going to give us this morning, this evening. Now, why do people waste money? I've got a summarized list of things, and I'm still going to go deeper. And I want us to look at areas that affect us as individuals. And I'm going to divide, I'm going to separate and digress into politics and digress into some church-related issues, because these are avenues by which people waste money, by which people lose money. When you waste money, when you buy what you don't need, you are a money waster. How many of us have done that in the past? We buy the things that we don't need. I'm going to talk about impulse purchase now. And when I have run through this, I will tell you about impulse purchase, the dangers of impulse purchase. When you buy things that you don't need, you are wasting money. Both men and women are guilty of this. But sometimes some of our sisters and our mommies, maybe they are more guilty. I'm not sure. And there are many men that are guilty of the same thing too, wasting money on what they don't need. But sometimes women, we have accused women that they are expert at this. I may be wrong. Maybe the statistics is not right. And buying the things that you don't need. Buying the things that you don't need. I've accused my sisters, I've accused some people around me who are ladies that, why are you wasting money on this? Why are you buying this? You don't need this stuff you're buying. So when you buy the things you don't need, you are wasting money. Now, when you invest on liabilities, you are wasting money. There are assets and there are liabilities. Asset and liabilities are accounting terms, financial terms. Now, Africans have been known to be champions at investing in what people call downward investment. Downward investment. Now, any investment that doesn't generate return on an increasing basis is a downward investment. There are certain things that when you buy them, the first day you use them, the value of that thing begins to depreciate. So accountants call some things, there's a word in accounting called salvage value. Salvage value. Now, when you have used something that you have bought over a period of time, the accurate value, the original value of that stuff will have depreciated. And then you have a remnant, a salvage value. So if you buy a brand new car today, you drive the car out of the car lot and you take it home and you return the car the second day, the value has dropped. That is called downward investment. And Africans are expert at that. Now, when you take all the money you have made in your salary, from your work, and you invest on wristwatch, and you buy the most expensive wristwatch, there is nothing wrong in that if you can afford it. But you invest in it, that is your own kind of investment. You are investing on downward investment. It is not upward investment. And so when you are made a career out of investing in downward investment, you are a money waster. I have met so many people whose goal in life, call some of our young men in our generation today and ask them what do they want to do if they make money. Majority of the things they'll be telling you are downward investments. When you make money as a man and you abandon your wife at home and you begin to run after all kinds of girls, that is called downward investment. Downward investment. I don't want, if I switch into the spiritual aspect of that, I will tell you the dangers in that. I don't expect anyone listening to me who is a Christian to be engaging in such illicit acts. It doesn't have any reward. The end product is disaster and destruction. Even though it may appear very lucrative, it may appear very decent on the surface, but the people that engage in such illicit acts, they always end up with regret. So when you invest in liabilities, you are investing in downward investment. When you give money to lazy people continually, you are wasting money. Now, there are certain times people are actually lazy and they are in problem. Somebody is very lazy, but he is sick and he needs money. Now, you don't say, oh, you are a very lazy person, even though you have the means to help that person. But the person is sick. He cannot even walk. Even though he has been lazy all his life, you still have to help that person. But there are some people that are not sick. Their arms are okay. Their feet are okay. Their eyesight are fine. Their hairs are fine. But they become burdens on you. And they become like a sinkhole. Many of us have such people around us. Many of us have had people in our lives, family, friends, that are like that. Now, there is nobody's a liability. I don't like using that word for people. It's an unchristian language. Everybody is an asset. But let me put it this way. People that have liability traits or liability behavior, because I don't want to call anybody a liability. We are all made in the image of God, and every man carries the blueprint, the signature of God. So nobody is a liability. We are all assets. But there are people that their lifestyles, their behavior constitute nothing less than a liability. When you continue to give money to such people and you continue to pump money into them, you are wasting money. And I have done that. I did that for a long time. I did it for a long time. For some of us that have friends and family members back home in Africa, you know what I'm talking about. And you are asking, what are you doing? What do you want to do with your life? Oh, I want to do this program. I'm doing this course. And by the end of the day, he cannot point his finger to anything tangible he has done. And yet you keep pumping money. You keep pumping money. You keep pumping money. You have cooperated with that person to be a money waster. Now, I'm setting the foundation before I go into the main teaching. Now, when you waste money, when you give money to manipulators. Manipulation is a tool that is prevalent in our world today. There are so many churches in our generation now in Africa that are being pastored and led by manipulators. I have fallen victim of that before in the past. Now, when you don't use sound judgment to know where you're supposed to give your money or to sow your money, and you are manipulated to do it, both the person that got the money from you and you, the giver of the money, you are guilty of the same crime. So there are so many channels and avenues by which people waste money. Now let me tell you something. Let me give you 9 different things that you have to do in 2017. In fact, I don't tell people to wait until 2018. You start the change now. 9 different things you must change in your life if you want to be a better person financially. 9 different attitudes, 9 different mindsets that will ultimately reshape and reorganize your value system. The way you handle money is a value system. The way you handle money is a value system. Your approach to money and finances. There is no man on earth that can live in this world without money. You have to eat, you have to clothe yourself, you have to pay your bills. There is no individual on earth today that can survive this world without money. Money is our legal tender. The only legal tender that you need in any institution, in fact, in virtually all institutions, is money. So the way you manage it goes a long way in determining the kind of life you will live. Sometimes the reasons why people are poor are not spiritual. There are self-inflicted poverty. Many of us have inflicted poverty on ourselves, knowingly or unknowingly. And there is one thing about life. Whether you know that what you are doing is wrong or you don't know, you will still suffer the consequences of that error. That is a very vital principle of life you must know. Whether you know that poison is bad or not, when you swallow poison, it still does the damage in your system. That is why when they take a thief or a criminal to a court and the judge sets his eyes on the criminal and the lawyers have proven the case beyond reasonable doubt that this criminal is indeed guilty, the judge will tell the criminal, beyond every reasonable doubt, you are guilty, and then the judgment will be served. Let's assume that the judge asked the criminal, tell me the reason why you have been killing people. And the criminal tells the judge, I did not know that it was wrong to kill people. What do you think the judge is going to do? Oh, my son, I'm very sorry. You didn't know that it is wrong to kill people. I discharge and acquit you. Ignorance of the law is never a tenable excuse in the court of law. Whether you know that stealing is wrong or not, once you cross the red line of the law, you are served your punishment. That is how life operates. Whether you know that managing money very well is right or not, you will still suffer the consequences of wasting money. And many of us have suffered a lot of terrible consequences of mismanaging our resources. And there is none of us that is not guilty of that. If you're an African, at least once in your lifetime, you would have mismanaged your money. You would have given money to a person that doesn't need money, or somebody who told you a lie to get money from you, or to a manipulator. You would have bought something that you didn't need to buy. And so we want a makeover. We are going to 2018. We want a makeover. Better financial management skills. Better value system in terms of managing money. The three most important issues of life. Anytime you want to get the attention of people, even when they are sleeping, even when they are drunk, there are three issues of life that will make everybody to sit up and give you their maximum attention. When you talk about money, when you talk about people's health, when you talk about money, when you talk about their health, and when you talk about their relationship, those are the three most critical issues to man. Health, finances, relationship. No matter how tired you are, if you get a text message on your phone that you have been awarded a contract to do a particular project running to $100 million, all the tiredness disappear. No matter how excited a man is, if he goes to the doctor and doctor gives him a sad news, you have been diagnosed with this, every excitement disappears. No matter how busy a man is, I'm speaking of reasonable men now. Reasonable men. You get a text message that your wife or your husband or your children is just involved, or just, in an accident. My relationship, my family, everything else loses value to you. Relationship, finances, and health. And these are the three areas that drive our life. If anything happens to any of these three aspects of our life, big trouble. Big trouble. If your finances collapse, it's almost like everything has collapsed, because you cannot feed, you cannot clothe yourself. If your health collapses, everything collapses. If relationship collapses, everything collapses. So, but we're not looking at health now. We're going to deal with health too. We're looking at finances and how not to be a waster. One of the things that you must fight against as you go into 2018 is not to become an impulse purchaser. Hey, impulse purchasing, buying things out of impulse. Now, psychologists tell us that there are 4 types of impulse purchases. There is what is called pure impulse. Pure impulse. That is an unplanned novelty purchase. Now, you're just browsing on the internet and just find a shoe, a very lovely shoe. You have 40 pairs of shoes in your house, but you're just browsing. Oh, this shoe is a black shoe. Even though you have 25 black shoes in the house, but something pops up and jumps up inside of you. Let me add that shoe and make it the 41st shoe. it's gonna go, it's gonna suit, it's gonna fit my latest jacket or my latest shirt. That is called pure impulse. Because you are just casually walking around a shopping mall and walking around a store, your eyes begin to roll around and you see things that you don't need and you buy them. And then you have opened a channel to waste money. There is something called reminder impulse. Reminder impulse. Seeing a product and remembering that you need it. Now, you didn't remember that you need that product before, but you just saw it. Oh, I think I will need this product in the next 3 months. And you suddenly cook up things in your mind. Oh, one of my friends that is going to do the graduation party in the next 6 months, I think this thing will be suitable for him. That is called reminder impulse purchase. Now there is suggestive impulse purchase. Seeing a product and visualizing a need for it. Now you don't need that product, but because you have seen that product, you begin to cook up a need. I think this thing will be good. I think it will be good. Many of us have done the same thing. I mean, I went to a store recently and I was trying to find a kind of a device. I went to buy something else and I saw a device that can help me to set up a kind of a multimedia system in my office and do something. And I had something I was using before, but suddenly I cooked up a need for that product. I said, this thing can be useful for me. It can be useful. That is called suggestive impulse purchasing. Now, if you don't manage that trait very well, it is going to open up the door for money wastage in your career, in your life. That is what is called planned impulse. Planned impulse. Planned impulse is this. You actually plan to go and buy something that you don't need because you saw the adverts. Now you are seated in your home and you saw the adverts of buy 3 get 3 free, buy 2 and get 2 free, buy 2 shoes and get 2 shoes free, buy 2 jackets and get 1 extra free. Now you have hundreds of jackets, but because you saw the advert and the money was cheap, you decide, okay, I'm going to go out on Monday and I'm going to go and buy it. Now you actually plan to do it and you went ahead to execute that impulse purchase. That is called planned impulse purchase. You know what happens? Many marketers and many shopping malls, many supermarkets, they employ marketers that will play on the impulse purchasing mindset of many people. They know that by the time they begin to flash that product and flash it, there is power in vision. There is power in what you see. So they play a lot on what we can see. People hardly respond to what they hear like they respond to what they see. So what they do is that they employ experts, marketers, people who are very good and skillful at using promotional devices and gadgets. They use them a lot. So when you see Walmart throwing products on their website and doing sponsored adverts on Facebook, they are playing on your impulse purchase mindset. They want to stimulate you to be an impulse purchaser. They know that by the time people begin to see something, you see it the first time, you see it the second time, something will whet your appetite and you will go for that product. Even though you don't need that product, they do it a lot. They do it a lot. They want to ensure that you become an impulse purchaser. Now, if you become an impulse purchaser, do you think it is to their own detriment? It is to your own detriment, but to their own benefit. Now, their own accounts and their own revenue and income begins to grow. Your own pockets begin to grow lean because you are continuously being motivated and inspired by what you can see. Now, maturity comes when you see things and you choose not to buy them. Maturity. One of my friends said something, and I apologize to my sisters that are watching. Our mommies and our sisters, they are good shoppers. So one of my friends said one day he went to a shopping mall and he had to hold the hands of his wife so they could be walking on the same aisle. And the wife said, why are you holding my hand? He said, in fact, I made a mistake. I should have blindfolded you when we entered the shop because you are not the one going to shop. I'm the one going to shop. I just asked you to follow me and just escort me into the shop. But I know that when you get there, by the time you begin to see buy 3, get 2 free, you will be pulling me. Honey, let's buy this. Honey, let's buy that. So I did a study many years back on the purchasing habits of women and men. We did a comparative analysis. The purchasing habits of women and men. Now, when a man enters a store, before the man enters the store, he has determined what he is going to buy. So they calculated the time that men spend in stores, and they compare the time with what the time women spend in stores. Of course, you know the result. The times women spend in stores are longer than the times men spend in stores. And they said a man will go to a store, go straight to the product, pick that product, go to the counter, to the till or whatever, pay and go. Now, I had that problem with my mom when I was growing up. My mom wants to buy a loaf of bread. She will go to 40 different places. And we always fought. I said, Mommy, this woman sells good bread. The bread is fresh back there in Africa. My mom will say, no, this one is not fresh enough. She touches this one, goes to the next counter, touches it, and they'll tell her it is 10 whatever off. Wow, can't I pay 8? No. Some of them will insult her. Come and steal it. Come and steal it. I just opened this store early in the morning. Don't mess up my market. Come and steal it. And my mom will go around. By the time you are getting to the number 10 person, that person will say, my customer, okay, I will sell it for you 3 for 2, and she'll buy it. So anytime she says I'm going to the market or wherever, you dare not follow her. You'll be thoroughly frustrated. And so I used to crack joke with my wife too. And then I said, where are you going now this morning? I want to go and say, what do you want to go and buy? I want to buy a shoe. Is it only a shoe you want to buy? Are you sure? Okay, it's a shoe. Okay, you can go. So on the way we are going, my wife will be looking like this to the right and left. I said, keep your head straight. I said, keep your head straight. She's watching me now. I said, keep your head straight. We had an agreement for you to buy one thing. Don't look left, don't look right. By the time she comes out, she will buy something lovely for me. Is it not you I bought it for? I said, I don't need it. I told you I don't want it. Don't buy it for me. No, I saw that you will like this t-shirt. You will like it. I said, I don't like it. Of course, I will accept it and wear it, and it will look good on me. And later on, she will come back for me. Now it looks good on you now. Don't you like it? I said, don't use that to catch and entrap me. I said I didn't like it. Why did you buy it? And we argue back and forth and laugh over it. But impulse purchase is one of the avenues for wastage of money. So you must be a guided and disciplined buyer. Guided and disciplined buyer. Otherwise, Walmart remains the richest retail company in the world. Walmart remains the richest. They have made billions of dollars. I have done research on Walmart for many years. They keep making money. They keep making money at your expense and at my expense. Then their children and great-grandchildren, the original Walmart man is dead now. He's dead. Sam Walmart is dead. The people that have inherited that company are his children. And they are rich. They are getting richer because of you and I. All the people that own all these blue chip companies and stores, the DKNY, the TM Lewin, London, all of the original owners are dead. These are companies that have existed for more than 50, 60, 100 years. But they keep posting billions of pounds of profit at your expense and at my expense. There is nothing wrong in buying good clothes and looking nice. It's good. But when you begin to buy things beyond what you need, you become an impulse purchaser. And that is what is called downward investment in financial management. Downward investment. You are not just buying assets, you are not buying liabilities. And then you begin to invest all the money you should use on important things on irrelevant things. 3 years after, Africans will say spiritual. Something is chasing me. Money doesn't stay in my hand. I think some people are fighting me from home. No, you are the fighter of yourself. You are the one responsible for the loss of money that you have experienced. Let me tell you the other things that affect our buying habits and that you must work against as you go to 2018. When you have wrong value for money and you see money as an end and not as a means to an end, you will waste money. When you see money as an end and not as a means to an end, money is a tool. Now when you see money as not as a tool but as the tool, as the main thing, you will waste money. For any rich man or big man that you know of in any part of the world, they know that money is a means to achieving something, achieving a set goal, developing a product, training my children, building a house, setting up a business. Ultimately, the end product is that money must be multiplied. Now, when you see money as an hand, it doesn't multiply in your hand. When you see it as a means, a strategy, a tool to achieving an end, that means you use that money wisely. Now you don't now invest in downward investment, you invest in upward investment, and that money will be multiplied. When you see money as an end, you have a static orientation to money. Watch the word I'm using now. Static orientation to money. Once I have money, this money I have, I must finish it. Until you finish it, it doesn't increase. Now, when you see money as a means to an end, you have a dynamic orientation. Now, have you heard the word currency? Currency is a language that is used in money. It comes from the word current. And that speaks of the dynamism of money. You've heard the word ocean current. Something that flows on the water. Money is dynamic. It flows. That is why they call it currency. Current. It flows. It's not a static entity. So those that see money as a static entity, it is my end. What is your goal in life? I want to be a billionaire. That kind of personality will waste money. Your goal in life is not to become a billionaire. Your goal in life is to use that billion to achieve something. If you look at the strategic goals and objectives of any company, pick any company, Microsoft, Dell, and check their website, look at their goals. They will tell you, our goal is to deliver value to customers. Our goal is to be there when they need us. You will never see our goal is to make money. They don't try to say that kind of a thing because they know that immediately they have that mindset, they will not be able to manage money very well. If your ultimate aim is to be a billionaire, you will waste money. But your ultimate aim as an individual, as an African, is to use money as a tool to achieve a desired end. And so when you have that mindset, you will be able to develop the skills and talent to multiply that money because you want to achieve a particular end. And so that end is there. You need money to be increasing in your hand. Number two, when you are a financial illiterate, you have no knowledge about how to multiply or increase money. You waste it. Every man, there was a story they told, Bill Gates and his son and his daughter went to a restaurant in the US. And so, you know the tipping culture in the Western world, it's in Africa too. When you have been served by a waitress and then your bill is $10, the waitress will give you a POS, and then on the POS you will see any tip. They will tell you to choose the tip. You hand it to it. Sometimes you give the tip in cash. So when Bill Gates finished eating, Bill Gates called the waitress to come for their bill. Of course, the waitress was celebrating. She was excited. Bill Gates came to a restaurant, big restaurant in the US, and Bill Gates passed $20 to the lady. She was shocked. And Bill Gates' daughter too now passed $500 to the lady. The lady was shocked, the waitress. How could Bill Gates give me $20? And the daughter is giving $500. And Bill Gates, he now asked Bill Gates that, why is he doing this? Bill Gates said, I am the son of a poor man, but my daughter is this daughter of a rich man. Look at his mindset. If you have ever met any rich man that is a financially literate person, they don't waste money. In fact, many financially literate persons are called misers. It's a miser. He doesn't give anybody money. I've heard people call a lot of rich men miser. He doesn't give money. Because rich men know that money must not be wasted or spent anyhow. It must be invested. It must be invested. It must be invested. We have a lot of financial illiterates in Africa. Now that somebody has a degree, has a PhD, does not mean he's a financially literate person. There are many financially literate professors. You find these things common among many politicians, religious leaders, people that are looking for how to use money to to become the number one in the society. How to use money to oppress people. They are financial illiterate. When you have a poor savings culture, you don't save anything at all. Now we have a lot of methods now for saving. Sometimes people are advised. I personally don't like it for you to be putting physical cash in the bank, because the risk, if you ask any financial advisor, they will tell you putting physical cash in the bank, even though it's very good, the day the bank collapses, you're in trouble. It is a high risk investment. So you use your cash wisely, you invest it or use it. I will mention some of the examples of things people invest in, which I believe we all know. Now, putting money in the bank and every month saving in the bank, every month, if you put all your life savings in that bank and the bank collapses, you're in trouble. So there are so many variants now, different types of special government sponsored savings account that people can take advantage of. So we are living in a generation where you have many varieties of opportunities for saving. So when people have zero savings culture, they will waste money. We have plenty of them in Africa. Plenty of them in Africa. And so when you don't have a savings culture, you will transfer the same traits to your children and they will not save. So as parents, we should imbibe that culture and that habit and transfer it to our children as well. When you have zero value for upward investment, now we are in the generation of Bitcoin. Real estate is booming in many countries. Stocks are there. How many of them have you invested in? Money will never be enough. If you have $1 billion today, there are things you can spend that money on that will finish in 24 hours. Just go to Dubai and look for 30 skyscrapers, 3 skyscrapers, and call a real estate guy and tell him you want to buy it. He will give you $1 billion bill, and the money is gone. The money is gone. The money is gone. We are privileged in this generation now to have access to a lot of investment schemes. So people that do not have confidence or have the habit of investing in upward investments that generate return, depending on the returns that you have been guaranteed by the owners of the investment or by the company you are investing in. And so we have very poor savings culture among Africans. Make everything today, finish it today. Make everything today, finish it today. And then tomorrow an African man will tell you, some people back home in Africa or back home in my village or wherever, they are the ones fighting against me. And I have met a lot of great people in Africa. I have a lot of friends who are investing in so many things and have become very rich. And I believe some of my friends listen to me too. You too, you're an investor. Many of our parents made a lot of mistakes. Many of our parents made a lot of mistakes. We should not repeat the errors of our parents. Most of our parents in Africa did not invest at all. Many of them ate with their 10 fingers. Many of them ate with their 10 fingers. And when the children grow up, they have nothing to fall back on. Now, I heard the story of one wicked man. Listen to this. Very wicked man. The man was around 75, 80 years old. An old man. Very close to the grave. And one day, he said he felt like he needed to borrow some money. And his friend asked him, borrow some money, millions of their currency, a lot of money. And a friend asked him, what are you doing with this money? You're an old man. He said, I want to travel to so many countries. I want to go to South Africa. I want to go to Dubai. I want to go to New York. I just want to enjoy myself. Millions, a lot of money. And his friend asked him, you want to borrow so much money and waste it on travel? He said, I would do that. And the friend asked him, how do you intend to pay the money back? He said, my children will pay when I die. My children will pay. Did you hear that statement? My children will pay when I die. The man said, so you want to incur a lot of debt, and so when you die, you leave debt for your children. There are some parents, the only inheritance they leave for their children is debt. Is debt. So you and I now must not make a mistake or make mistakes that our parents have made. There was a comedian an African comedian that cracked this joke. Listen to this joke. Many of you have heard it before. He said, anytime you see an advert about a man that just died, and they start the advert like this: with deep regrets, we announce the passing of Mr. So, Mr. James so and so, and he said you should know the man is a poor man that died. So the family members will tell the printer that will print the flyer, we are regretting over the death of this man. With deep regret. He said when it is a rich man, the message we say, with ultimate gratitude to God. With ultimate gratitude to God. So the family members actually pray that the man should die, because the man has invested a lot of things. He has a lot of money. And so they know when the man dies, they have a lot of things to fall back on to share. Many parents in Africa have done virtually nothing to build up wealth. Now, I'm not speaking about stealing money now to build up wealth. The works of your own hand, your own labor. There is a story of a man, a policeman. Listen to this story. A policeman in an African country. That policeman was like an highway policeman. The policemen that stay on the road and help people when they have accidents, and they check the speed limit. And so anytime there was an accident, this man and his gangs, a policeman, they will go and try to rescue the victims, and they will begin to ransack their pockets. Sometimes the victims would have died. So before the ambulances come, they put their hand in the pocket of the dead victims on the highway and take out all the money. They quickly take the money out, and then they deposit their corpse in the mortuary. He did it for many years. He made a lot of money. This man made a lot of money. And so the man started using the money he was making to raise his children. He was robbing the dead to sponsor the living. He was robbing the dead to sponsor the living. He sent all his children to university. He made a lot of money. He didn't want to leave that job, because apart from his salary, he was always posted to the highway. Anytime there was accidents, he together with his contemporaries, with his friends, his fellow police officers, they will quickly rush the victims, pick gold wristwatches, pick their purses, check and remove the money. This man sent his children to school, sent them to school. He built a house, and everything appeared as if nothing was going to happen. He was robbing the dead to sponsor the living. About 15 years or many years after, this same man was in a vehicle and he was traveling somewhere, and policemen stopped him on the road in that country, and the policemen were asking the driver of the bus for bribe, for tip. This man was in the car, and the man shouted from the back. He told the driver, he said, give them whatever you want to give them. Give them anything they ask of you. They don't know my story. I will tell you my story. That was the day he told this story I'm telling you. He said every one of his children that is sponsored to university, he lost all of them one by one. They died. One by one. Sickness, accidents, sickness, accident. Every one of them died one by one. Every one of them. That is the danger in sponsoring the living with the money of the dead. Robbing the dead to sponsor the living. I don't want to go to that this afternoon, this evening. I believe I'm still going to have a day that I'm going to devote to this. But what I'm saying today is this. So many of us are parents. And many of us are saying, I wish my dad had done something. I wish my mom had done something. I wish daddy didn't resign from that job. I wish that money he made, he bought a property. I know of so many children that are falling back on their parents' investment. And they are asked, and their parents are giving them inheritances that are helping them to stand strong in their own career. There is nothing wrong in a parent helping his children if the parents have the means. So if you do not want to repeat what you said about your parents, then you have to make a change now. As we go to 2018, I must be a wise spender of money. I must be a wise spender of money. When you have access to money that you did not work for, you will waste it. That's number 5. When you have access to the money you did not work for, how do people have access to the money they've not worked for? Stealing, corruption, rituals, cheating, all kinds of vices. So anytime you see people wasting money, there is a high probability that they did not work for that money. And we find this menace eating up Africa. We find this menace eating up Africa. Majority of the people that are wasting money, African man will waste money on burial, waste money on wedding, waste money on birthdays. There is nothing wrong in celebrating people when they pass on. But you don't close down a bank because you want to celebrate burial. That is a downward investment. You don't close down a bank because you want to do wedding. An African man is a legend when it comes to spending money on events and parties. That is who we are. I'm an African man too. I know what I'm talking about. If you do not detach yourself from that culture, you will repeat the same thing, and you will save money and invest all the money you have saved on one day event. One day event. There is nothing wrong in celebrating birthday parties and weddings. Those things take place in only one day in our life. If you have the money, spend it. But not impoverishing yourself, and all the labor of your life, all the money you have earned and made, you put everything together and you waste them, you spend them on one day's event. One day's event. I've known of cases of couples that will spend all their savings on one day's wedding. And when they start the actual marriage, because wedding takes place in a day, marriage comes after. Wedding takes place in a day, marriage comes after. So they spend all their investment on one day's event, and they now enter into trouble and begin to nurse the wounds. They begin to pay debts because they want to show off to everybody. These are issues that are killing many of us in Africa. And if you want things to be different in 2018, it is high time we all began to make changes. There is nothing permanent about culture. Culture can be changed. Culture can be changed. There is nothing like this is who I am. I cannot change. Only God is constant. Every man is a variable. You can change. I can change. If something is killing us and we don't stop it and stem the tide, and we begin to say that, oh, it's our culture, it will continue to afflict us. When you have an when you see money as a measure of self-worth, did you hear that? The more money I have, the bigger I am. You will waste money. The more money I have, the bigger I am. Let me tell you something. A millionaire is not a man that has $1 million in his account. A millionaire is a man that is worth 1 million people. A millionaire is not a man that has $1 million stacked in his account. A millionaire is a man that is worth 1 million people. Self-worth is not the same thing as net worth. A man's value is not determined by his valuables. Self-worth is not the same thing as net worth. A man's value is not determined by his valuables. So when you have an orientation that the more money I have, the bigger I am, which is Africa's major problem, you will waste money. You will just be throwing money around to prove a point to people that I am a big person. That is a fundamental problem in Africa. And that is the reason for the poverty we are seeing in our society. A lot of people whose measure of self-worth is determined by money. They have become money bags, and they are the one using money in illicit ways and desecrating our society. A man's value is not determined by his valuables. Self-worth is not the same thing as net worth. You can have all the money in this world and you have zero value. Haven't you heard the story of people who stole money and they become billionaire? Mobutu Sese Seko of Zaire, he was stinkingly rich, was a billionaire. Would you allow the signature of Mobutu to be on your certificate on your wedding day. That Mobutu wants to sign your certificate. But they mention the name of one man who is just average, but is an intellectual in university, in Harvard, and he wants to sign a certificate. You allow him to do it, because you know that self-worth and net worth are different things. So if you run your life throughout 2018 with the mind of the more money I have, the bigger I am, you will waste money. You will look for money in ungodly ways, in illicit ways, and in the process of doing that, you will corrupt yourself, corrupt your family, corrupt society. When you have an unequal appetite for materialism, you will waste money. Materialism is not the same thing as prosperity. They are two different things. And then prosperity is not just having money. I define prosperity in three different ways. For those that are Christians, in one of my books, prosperity, there are three types of prosperity in the scripture. There is spiritual prosperity, there is intellectual prosperity, and there is material prosperity. The least of them all is material prosperity. The least, the one on the ground, the lowest level of prosperity is material prosperity. The highest level is spiritual, the next is intellectual. When you have very sound mind, when you have very sound mind, you can turn grass to grace. You can turn a whole Sahara desert to an oil field without any cash in your pocket. You are intellectually brilliant. And so prosperity is not just about stacking money in your account, and prosperous. No. Materialism is different from prosperity. So the disease that is oppressing and afflicting many Africans is not prosperity now, it's materialism. Now it is very easy to cross from prosperity to materialism if you do not have some of the issues I have discussed now very, very strongly held in your heart as a strong value system. What is materialism? You are driven by anything you can see on the outward. You are controlled from the outside. You are not controlled from the inside. You can easily be purchased. When you are angry and you see money, your anger disappears. Even when people are at fault and you need to discipline them and they show you money, you turn around your discipline. You can be bought by money. Can you be bought by money? There are some people, you have not given them their price. When you give them their price, they will break. If you are that kind of an individual and you are susceptible to financial inducement, even when you are standing on truth and people induce you with money and you change your mind, you are a very weak man. Such people don't make good leaders. Unfortunately, that is the problem we have in Africa. Majority of our leaders, governors and presidents, are weak leaders. They are controlled from the outside. Their locus of control is the outside, not from the inside. We have had cases of people that have been bribed before and they refused the bribe. And they were in need of money. Not that they were very rich, they were in need of money, but people offer them bribes and they put down their feet. I will not collect the money. I told you the story of Nelson Mandela. The apartheid government offered Mandela all kinds of things. They gave him all kinds of perks. We will give you diamonds in Kimberley. We will give you acres of gold in Cape Town. Nelson Mandela said, no way. I want apartheid abolished. I told you how they buried Nelson Mandela and left his head on the ground. They put his entire body under the ground and left his head above the ground. And they were urinating on him. The apartheid government. Recount this thing and we will free you. Mandela said, no way. I will rather die. These are the kind of leaders Africa need. Mandela couldn't be purchased by money. They did everything possible. He said, no way. He said, no way. That is a man that knew what materialism can do. If Mandela had given way to the apartheid government, the story would have been different today. South Africa would still be in the chains of apartheid. I live in that country and I know the damage and the disaster that apartheid did to them. I knew the damage apartheid did to them. You will waste money when you are in an environment of manipulation. Now, I will go a bit spiritual here. I know some Christians are on this platform, but if you're not a Christian, you can still learn. When you are a Christian and you are in a church where you are being manipulated to give money, not willingly giving money, you will waste money. Now, I was having a chat with a friend few weeks ago, and I was lamenting to that man. I was lamenting about myself because of the amount of money I wasted under different environment of manipulation. And I tried to calculate all the money I wasted. If those money had been saved somewhere or invested, or I had used that money to invest in motherless babies' lives, invest in orphans, invest in poor people, I would have been happier. But I gave some of those money to people with sugar-coated mouth who manipulated us for many years. And so I qualified as a money waster. So some of the challenges I have faced in recent times, some of the financial challenges I have faced, I now attribute them to years of financial mismanagement. Because money is currency. It flows. It flows. You can have $1 billion today. If you don't manage it tomorrow, you can have zero. Go and speak to rich men. I was hearing the story of a billionaire, former billionaire, who was driving a taxi. I read that story. I was shocked. Former billionaire who owned hotels and properties in a particular African country. Today he now drives taxi. And they asked him, what happened to you? Your story is rare. He said, I was just giving money out to people. When people have problems, they come to me. You take. Everyone that I gave money to when I had problem, none of them has been able to help me today. He began to mention the names of key people in the society that has helped. That is always the situation. The people you help today may not be the ones to help you tomorrow. In fact, they may turn their back at you and say you are a stupid man. I went to visit a man in Africa last year, and the man was telling me he had a problem, a financial challenge, and he called one of his friends in Germany and asked him to give him some money just to help him. This friend that is in Germany was sent to Germany by this man. He purchased his ticket for him. He gave money for the passport. He did everything for him. He said the man in Germany told him, Uncle, you are getting old. Why did you spend the early part of your years wasting money? Can you believe that? You should have preserved money and saved money. As of today now, you won't be calling me to help you. The same man helped him to go to Germany. This man said he was crying. He said he was crying. And that is always the case. If you are a money waster and you have made yourself the central bank of your own self that people can come and withdraw money from, the day you have problem and you go to the same set of people, you'll be shocked what will happen. You will be shocked. That is why you have to cover your back and avoid manipulators. Manipulation comes through via so many avenues. People can be telling lies that they have need, but they don't have need. They are manipulators. People back home can use you as a money spinning machine because they know you are abroad, and they can be ripping you of your money if you're not careful. Even if you are in Africa, you listen to me in Africa, you can have family members that are actually doing bigger project than you, but they are hiding that project. And so they will not be using you as a money spinning machine to sponsor that project. And they'll be telling you lies that they don't have money. Money is a currency. It can appear today, it may not be there tomorrow. It can appear if you don't know how to tie it down and manage it properly. Now, if you have spent the whole of 2017 wasting money, look at the leakages in your life. I have to check my finances and check our church, check my ministry, check our business. And I look at the leakages. I do that regularly. And I have to be blocking leakages. Now, I'm not saying we should be misers. We should not give money and help people. I'm speaking about foolish giving. I have done a lot of foolish giving. I said, I was very foolish. How did this man manage to get money from me? This man is rich. He deceived me. I have been in that situation many times. And all the money I gave out, if I sum them up, a lot of money. And there will never be a time in your life and in my life when people's needs will be fully met. Until you die and I die, there will always be needs. And so you are not the Jehovah Jireh that will meet everybody's needs. I'm speaking a Christian language now. You are not the Jehovah Jireh that will meet everybody's needs. I was having a conversation with a pastor today, and he was telling me all kind of stuff related to what I'm saying. He said he got to a point he had to be telling people no. There was a US basketballer. The guy was very rich in the late 80s. A famous basketball player in the US. And as of today, he has gone to bankruptcy. And they asked him, you made millions of dollars. What happened to your money? He said, I am suffering today because I did not know how to say no to people. I am suffering today because I didn't know how to say no. I had that problem too for a long time. Because I just love people. Anytime people bring their problems, I want to solve them. I want to solve them. And people began to feed on me. And the money began to grow. And it got to a point I said, the way things are going, these people want to run me aground. And I began to say no with love. You know how I say no with love? Oh, my brother. What shall we do now? I know that money is huge. You need $100, but I can't borrow you $100. I will give you $10. But I will pray with you. God will open a door for the $90. You know what happens? I did that to some people that I had given money to more than 20 times. Not to people that come and I know that they have genuine needs or they are in problems. Some people that have come over and over and over and over. So when they come the 20th time, I say, my brother, I know God will make a way. Let's pray together. And because the guy has received money from me several times. And the sinkhole never gets full. It's a problem with us in Africa. And I want us to do a kind of a financial audit. Audit your own account. Don't invite in a professional auditor now. Audit your own account. How much am I making? How much is going out? How can I increase what I'm making? Can I save 30% or 40%? Oh, I can't save 40%. Can I save 10%? And be in control of your finances. Don't put the control of your finances in other people's hands. Financial illiteracy is costly. We are getting old. Nobody's getting younger. Before you say Jack, you are 50. And then you are 60. And then you are 70. And there is no more strength to walk. It is what you have done now that will build up for you in the future. It looks like it's very long. It's not always long. It always looks long. It always appears as if it is long. It's not long. And so this is a value system I want us to imbibe. Take absolute control of your finances. Block all the leakages. Anyone you want to help them as you are led. But make sure nobody is using you as a money spinning machine. If you are in an environment of a manipulator, get out of that environment. Get out of that environment. Whether it is a job or a church or whatever. And go into a new environment where you will not be manipulated to give money. You give money out of love. Yes, I want to help you, and you give that person money. Not because the person is threatening you or blackmailing you or threatening you or putting fear into you. That is no longer giving out of love. That is manipulation. And let me tell you something that is very damning. All of the places where I gave money out of manipulation, I got no reward. I got no reward. Everywhere where I've given money out of compulsion, out of manipulation, there was nothing, no reward. I'm speaking as a Christian now. Because in the first instance, money doesn't multiply by giving it out. Money doesn't multiply by giving it out. It multiplies by investing it. So you cannot pray it into multiplication. You cannot pray it into multiplication. It doesn't multiply by giving out. It multiplies by investment. But because Africans are always in a hurry. I was telling someone today, we are always in a hurry. We want to invest today, make that money today. A white man will invest today and wait for 20 years. I'm an African man too. I invested something, I started calling my account, whatever. When is this money going to grow? When is this money going to grow? I was doing the same thing. It is something we have to uproot for our system. That is what is killing our society. And people will work for 40 years, they are already grayed on their head, and there is nothing to show for it. And we transfer the same passion, we transfer the same nature into any other country where we live all over the world. An African person wants to invest today and become millionaire today. That is a big issue. And that thing actually connects to wastage of money. You want to do it today and get it today. Nobody becomes rich sustainably by being impatient. Lack of patience is a major problem we have to correct as we go to 2018. You must find out where you can invest your money and take your highs away. I invested something for someone, and that investment was to last for 1 year. After 2 months, the person came to me. He said, can you help me liquidate the investment? I said, it's not possible. He said, I have a need. I said, African people, you have started again. It is a 1 year investment. So you have a little problem. You want to kill the investment. I said, this one, I will never give it to you. He said, no. I will start again. I said, you won't start again. I know you very well. He sent me a message. I said, we won't liquidate it. I connected him with a company that was doing investment. As we won't liquidate it. I said, don't, you already get it to around 50. You want to be 70 and then you look back, there's nothing to fall back on. Because of little problem, it's like you're planting something. When we're in primary school, we plant something. As children, we go back and uproot it. We look at it. We plant it again. We have killed the plants. If I had invested all the money that I gave out and wasted, I would be a multi-millionaire today in dollars. I'm speaking of more than 25 years. 20 to 25 years of working as a consultant, working as an engineer, working as a financial person, and made a lot of money. Invested some of them, mismanaged some of them. And when we were spending that time, we weren't thinking, mismanaging it. We felt we were helping people. Oh, my uncle, oh, my auntie, oh. Before you know what's happening, the money you have given them out can build a whole house. Can build a whole house. So until we take control of our destiny, every other person will take it out of control. Until you take control of your destiny, other people will take it out of control. If you're not careful, they will get it out of your hand and throw it off balance. And before you say Jack, you hear that person has bought so properties in Hawaii. He has done something, and and you're on the same spot. And so I'm finishing this seminar now. Tomorrow is going to be explosive. We're going into spousal abuse tomorrow. Wow, that's a very hot topic. Spousal abuse. No spousal abuse in 2018. You must not beat your wife. No matter how provoked you are. You must not beat your husband. Emotional abuse, 0. Child abuse, 0. Wife abuse, 0. Husband abuse, 0. We're going to dig deep into that tomorrow. I'm bringing this to an end now, and I believe you have learned something, and you are making up your mind to take control over your finances as we transit into 2018. Thank you so much, my dear friends, for taking the pain to watch this broadcast. I love you all, and I appreciate the time you have spent. I'm going to see you tomorrow again, 1 p.m. 1 p.m. New York and Toronto time, and 6 p.m. because the time has changed now. One of my brothers told me the time has changed now. 6 p.m. UK time and West African time. Thank you so much. I know God is going to enrich you and give you wisdom, and your work is going to be blessed and prospered. And when you begin to make money, begin to invest your money wisely. Use your money wisely. If you have to give people money, give the people that are in need. Give widows money. Give orphans money. I had to do a complete turn around, and I made up my mind that I will never give money to people that are exploiters and manipulators. So I began to look for widows, missionaries that are inside the village, inside the desert. I began to send money to them. I began to give them money. I just said I will not give money to anybody who will manipulate me. And I felt joy in my heart that God is using me to touch the lives of so many missionaries, persecuted Christians in Iraq, people that are underground churches in North Korea, people that are under persecution. I began to send money to them, and I felt the joy of God in my heart. If I had known what I know today, 20, 30 years ago, I would have been a very rich man. And the richer I am today, the better it is for the widows. The widows and the beggars. I would have used all the money to train them. But we use all the money, millions, we gave them out to manipulators. And that is why today I get very, 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 very inspired to share some of my experiences with us, so that my friends and other people that are watching me can learn from this, and we can all make a better place out of Africa and out of our society. Thank you so much for today. I see you tomorrow. God bless you.